You are no son of mine.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're scoping out details in the House of the Dragon series that will mean a whole lot more to you if you're familiar with either the Game of Thrones sister show or the A Song of Ice and Fire novels. If you're not though, spoilers ahead.
You're no son of mine.
Number 10. Dragon domestication.
The
The appearance of dragons in the Game of Thrones setting was a big deal. They hadn't appeared for centuries, unlike in House of the Dragon, where the beasts are much more commonplace. You can catch cool subtleties that showcase their domestication, like the fact that they have saddles. The design of each saddle differs based on its dragon and rider, and their existence and sophistication means that these Westerosi have experience taming the fire breathers.
Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
There are also nuances regarding their physical structure. Showrunner Miguel Sapochnik studied real animal skulls to help ensure the creature's snouts had different shapes. Designers also gave each signature traits, like Caraxes' identifiably long neck. If you discerned such small world-building distinctions by yourself, it means you know your dragons. Number 9. Familiar Lannisters. The golden-haired Lannisters of Casterly Rock have some questionable bloodlines, and the HBO casting department has taken full advantage of this. The most notorious case is Dean Charles Chapman, who played both the young Martin Lannister and an adolescent Tommen Baratheon.
Together, we will restore the Seven Kingdoms to glory.
In House of the Dragon, the recycled face belongs to Jefferson Hall, who portrays twin brothers Jason and Tywin Lannister. Appearing as identical siblings might not be a stretch, but you can also pick out Hall in Game of Thrones as Sir Hugh of the Vale, one of the Mountain's unfortunate victims. If you're able to make the connection, it means you've either scoured both shows' IMDb pages or have watched them on repeat. Let's hope that a Lannister always pays his acting agents.
You sure? Yes.
Number 8. The Valyrian Blood Mages. The role of magic in the Game of Thrones world is uniquely selective. Fantastic elements often play second fiddle to realistic warfare, but when sorcery does appear, it's usually devastating. There's a quick mention of blood mages in the early episodes of House of the Dragon.
This was the Enoglion, but the blood mages worked their craft.
If you're schooled in Thrones lore, you likely made a tragic connection to Daenerys' ill-fated husband, the Dothraki Khal Drogo. After Drogo fell terminally sick, Dany turned to an Eastern enchantress known as a blood mage for a spell that might save his life.
Some magic.
There is a spell. Some would say death is cleaner.
It didn't turn out how the princess had hoped, and she ended up traumatized by the loss of her lover. We've yet to see much witchcraft in House, but this line has ominously made its presence known. Number 7. Rhaenyra's Royal Jewelry.
Heir to the Iron Throne.
Even casual visitors to Westeros know about the prominent families, which all come with unique ancestry and specific symbols that represent their bloodlines. These sigils return in House of the Dragon, most obviously during the Pilots Tournament, where we can see flags for the Lannister Lion, Baratheon Stag, and of course the Targaryen Dragon.
Sigil, a stag, a crowned stag, now that Robert's king.
Good.
Words, ours is the Fury, Lords the Baratheons.
But there's another place where the mascots reappear. Near the episode's end, Rhaenyra sports a glistening ornate necklace during her crowning ceremony. Freeze frame the image and you can pinpoint recognizable noble symbols that are peppered throughout the piece's chain. You'll spot the wolf of House Stark, the falcon of House Arryn, and the sun and spear of House Martell, to name a few. That's A-list detailed costume design if we've ever seen it.
Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you.
Number 6. Some major events have already been spoiled.
Queen Alicent has not forgotten the love you once had for each other.
If spoiler evasion is precious to you, it's not just George R.R. Martin's books that you'll need to avoid. Closely attentive Game of Thrones bingers will already know that some major plot points and even deaths have already been blatantly spelled out in dialogue.
We mothers do what we can to keep our sons from the grave. They do seem to yearn for it.
Though she's not ornamentally detailed, Shireen Baratheon outlines the Dance of Dragon Civil War, which House of the Dragon story is leading up to.
Them or the other. Their fight divided the kingdoms in two. Brothers fought brothers. Dragons fought dragons. By the time it was over, thousands were dead.
And we won't go into it here, but that rascal King Joffrey bluntly states the eventual fate of Rhaenyra Targaryen. As Season 2 unfolds and we meet new characters, it may be worth revisiting Thrones to see what else the series has already told us.
I would rather feed my sons to the dragons than have them carry shields and caps.
Number 5. Blackfyre. Set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon has ample opportunity to show off some trinkets that we've previously only heard about. Take King Viserys' mighty broadsword Blackfyre. Used more as a cane than it's wielded, the massive claymore is an heirloom of House Targaryen, originally owned by Aegon the Conqueror. If you've read your mythology, you'll know that Blackfyre is eventually involved in some family drama that starts the First Blackfyre Rebellion, a historical Targaryen civil war.
The heir for a day. Did you say it?
It's unclear whether we'll see that great conflict in the new show, but it's not the only legendary saber that connects both series. Prince Daemon possesses Dark Sister, a famous Valyrian steel blade that Arya later references while at Harrenhal.
Visenya Targaryen was a great warrior. She had a Valyrian steel sword she called Dark Sister.
Number 4. A true Easter egg.
The dragons are all dead. Been dead for centuries.
Though more common in the setting of House than Thrones, dragon eggs are no less valuable. A major conflict in the Rogue Prince episode involves Daemon's theft of a speckled egg belonging to Dreamfire. The treasure bears stark resemblance to the 3 eggs given to Daenerys Targaryen at her wedding to Khal Drogo. The book Fire and Blood elaborates on the origins of Dany's children, suggesting that they were of Westerosi origin and looted from Dragonstone. Though the book doesn't state outright that these came from Dreamfire, readers speculate that the eggs from both shows are one and the same. This would make Dreamfire the mother of Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserys, and mean that both Rhaenyra and Daenerys are cradling the same dragon spawn in their hands.
Dragon's eggs, Daenerys, from the Shadowlands beyond Ashai. The ages have turned them to stone, but they will always be beautiful.
Number 3. The Iron Throne's many swords.
1,000 blades, taken from the hands of Aegon's fallen enemies, forged in the fiery breath of Balerion the Dread.
It symbolizes dominion over the 7 kingdoms, and has been sought by many. But the Iron Throne doesn't look quite the same after its travels from Game of Thrones to HBO's new prequel installment. Specifically, there are a lot more swords. Book readers will know that the added metal makes the chair more accurate to George R.R. Martin's description.
Added to the chair.
He envisioned an unorganized mound of, quote, jagged and twisted blades, rather than the polished platform that most watchers are accustomed to. House of the Dragon creators also wanted to meticulously communicate the differences between both time periods. Adding more weapons helps convey the grandeur of House Targaryen's capstone era. The blueprint for the actual seat remains the same though, effectively connecting both epics for returning fans.
There aren't 1,000 blades. There aren't even 200. I've counted.
Number 2. The Cat's Paw Dagger.
Dagger once belonged to Aegon the Conqueror. It was Aenar's before that. And before that, well, it is difficult to know.
If you were caught up on your Game of Thrones binge, then this knife's appearance probably made your jaw drop. Given to Rhaenyra by King Viserys, its edge comes inscribed with prophetic words by Aegon I, and it contributes to some major throne spoilers during its lifespan.
Do you know whose dagger this is?
I must admit I do not.
It's informally named Cat's Paw Dagger for the man hired to murder Bran Stark, and it becomes a sort of chess piece for Littlefinger's manipulation. Most triumphantly, Arya restores the weapon's honor by burying it into the Night King. It's already active in-house, becoming Alicent Hightower's choice tool for a passionate attempt on Rhaenyra's life. Its inclusion was a specific choice by the showrunners to link both series to each other, and fans did not miss it.
But now they see you as you are.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Song of Ice and Fire.
From my blood come the prince that was promised. And his will be the song of ice and fire.
The entire Game of Thrones universe began with George R.R. Martin's series of novels, collectively titled A Song of Ice and Fire. As hefty as that phrase looms, there's actually very little we know about it.
You serve Jon Snow now.
He's the prince that was promised.
Forgive me, my lady, I'd thought that was Stannis.
The words appear in a prophecy that involves an unnamed, quote, prince that was promised. But its meaning and intent are subjects of heavy interpretation. Despite theories that this refers to Daenerys or Jon Snow, neither the prince nor the song have ever been clearly defined.
Proper translation for that prophecy would be the prince or princess who was promised will bring the dawn.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Since the famous sentence excitedly returns in House of the Dragon, die-hard readers and watchers wonder if House might provide answers that the previous material hasn't. It could even mean that House of the Dragon won't be our last visit to Westeros.
All of Westeros must stand against it. And if the world of men is to survive, a Targaryen must be seated on the Iron Throne. A king or queen.
What did you notice that we missed? Share in the comments below.
Promise me this, Rhaenyra. Promise me.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.